wanted to talk to you about your record, and I was trying not to say this to you before we started recording.
Yep.
But I love it so much. It's such a great album. It's called SUMO, and so we wanted to kind of establish first of all how it was that we knew each other.
Right. Yeah. Which are interesting circumstances, definitely.
Here's how I know. Here's what I know. You made a video about Ivana XL, like on Ivana XL, like reviewing an Ivana XL album or EP or whatever.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to love you now, I know. Somebody's going to take your shit and roll with it.
That somehow got in front of me, so I sent it to Ivana, and she like posted it on Facebook. And then you saw that, and you were like, "Oh, cool, thanks." And I was like, "Oh, I'm friends with this person already on Facebook." That was when I tuned into what you were doing, and I don't know how old you were at the time.
I was. What year was that? Like 2010, maybe.
Yeah,
so
probably.
I was 14
That's
at that
so
point.
fucking insane.
Yeah.
Before the review starts up, I want to say that you can now follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Macasaur. It's the last link in the doobly-doo. So I'm replacing the like me on Facebook thing with the Twitter thing. If you want to like me on Facebook, just look up Macasaur FM. Okay, review, go.
Well, I mean, part of it is, I was definitely like an internet lurker at that time generally, and I was going to middle school and didn't have a lot going on, so music reviewing was the right way to go about it, and then eventually learned that it's better to make your own stuff than critique everything.
I remember though your review of Ivana XL. I think it was very positive.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, because I wouldn't have sent it to her if it hadn't.
Taking the first train to Berlin, 'cause I can't sleep without you. Taking the first train to the city, 'cause I can't sleep without you.
So as far as your album's called SUMO.
Mm-hmm.
Good title. What was the inspiration? Was it the song? Did the song come first?
Sumo, sumo, sumo. Tell me, baby, where did you go? I was there the first time you laid in line. I was there the last time you called me mine.
No, the song came later. It was originally just like a really catchy word, and it's something that I really liked. That's how most of like my album titles start. Is just like I actually Boyfriend TV, my first album. I got the title from. There's this website that gives you a live stream of everything that people are typing into porn websites, which is incredibly entertaining on its own. But one of them is Boyfriend TV, and I was like, that is amazing, and immediately called my album that. And then like I looked at the Bandcamp diagnostics, and it was mostly people looking for gay porn, which is what
I was gonna say.
What that is.
Yeah. Did you ever find out what Boyfriend TV was?
Yes.
Okay.
The website, by the way, if you're interested, it's pornmd.com/live-search. I just brought it up, and the first thing that came up was Russian Federation. But here's some more if you want a band name or album name. Dildo Walk, Webcam 10 Sex, Hot America, Sex Arabic Heating, Gay, Cleopatra, Slave Ranch, MILF Body, Sex African Fire, Sex in Deer Stand, Ball Kicking Japan, Fantasy Ransom, Choke Fuck, Softball Coach.
But Sumo was just a catchy title at first, and then I started thinking about this one experience I had where I watched this. This is disgusting. I watched this Vine of a kid getting bullied, and it just kind of like clicked me into this whole thing of like, oh well, the reason why I am that I am, and I have this big personality, and I make music and all this stuff, is because I was like the token like funny fat kid growing up. And so Sumo, it conceptually is sumo wrestlers have a good kind of fat and use their fat to an advantage. And so I was kind of thinking of like repurposing your given condition. Not that it's anything. I'm still bathing in privilege outside of that. But
that's true though. Okay, I've been thinking about this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everyone who's creative,
yep,
like suffers. So I think about the idea of like if I am going to like raise a child, someday, that child's childhood has to suck, right? Because
Yes.
I want my child to grow to be like a good creative person.
Mm-hmm.
So like they have to get bullied.
Yep.
They have to maybe not have a great relationship with me. I got to figure out how to move that somewhere else. It's got to be somebody else's fault.
Yeah, I that's a good call. I thought about that myself too, where it's like I'm gonna love my kid too much, and it's gonna be boring.
Yeah, I'm gonna raise a Republican.
Ivana?
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
good. How are you?
All right.
Checking out the record again. So
Oh
nice.
yeah. Cool. Yeah. So you had a chance to listen to Mackenzie's album.
Yeah, a couple times, a few times. Super nice.
Isn't it weird that like this 14-year-old kid was like, like watching my videos and listening to your music and just like making vlogs, and now he's making like these like great, insanely competent records? It's fucking weird.
I know. And like also like everything about it, that like obviously the arrangements, melody, lyrics, like it's like fucking great. And his voice is gorgeous too.
If you were gonna make like a YouTube vlog, like reviewing his record, what would be what would be the general thrust,
Well, first, like, okay, I'll just tell you my initial, like, first of all, I was like, holy shit. First of all, his voice is, like, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know, like, the first time you listen to Wilco Summer Teeth?
Sure.
That's,
yeah.
like, how it feels. It's obviously totally different, but it's, like, that feeling, Like, it's definitely, the melodies are just beautiful. I don't know how to, like, and reading the lyrics are just very observatory, so I like when people don't say, like, I'm happy, I'm sad, like, they just explain, what they're seeing, kind of, so I really liked it. Very beautiful. And beautifully mastered, too. Mastered mix. It's really, really nice.
Okay, so like as like a non-musician, like what's a like a hallmark of something that you could hear where you go like, oh, that's really well mastered. Like, what should I be listening for to understand that?
I think it's I don't know what the word is. It's balanced, It's like, so if you have in your headphones, like, the guitar is not too loud, like, the vocals are not too loud. A lot of times, like, okay, like, for example, Ryan Adams always has his voice, like, always has his vocals, like, top. Like, so, but Mackenzie's is, like, beautifully balanced, yeah. It's like a nice little sea of sounds.
That thing with like where like the vocals are like up on top, sometimes it definitely, I feel like when musicians do that, they're aiming for someone older than me to like it.
Right.
Like,
so like they can hear it.
yeah. Or like, cause like it makes me think of like, I've been reading this David Byrne book about like, it's called How Music Works. And
yeah,
he talks about like how they used to have to record music when it was just a microphone in the middle of a room. And so like the drummer had to be like 50 feet away with a bunch of blankets all over his drum set. And
right.
the singer was up close. And that's why like these Johnny Cash songs sound like he's playing a guitar with two strings and someone's hitting a stick against the ground behind him. And it's just singing. So, yeah.
Saw you Sunday at the town mart. Hidden breezes and the battle stars. You said there ain't nothing that I can do. It's Shiva, no rock star. It's Shiva.
Okay, I wanted to talk to you about like intention
Yep.
going into creating an album, because I have followed your music for a while, and
Oh, you did the album art for the Sorely Missed EP.
I did.
Wow.
That's true.
Whoa. Yeah, I was like 16 when that came out. That's wild.
Yeah. It was an Instagram picture that I took near Jeff's house, Nancy and Jeff's house. It was
bus.
I almost got shot for taking that picture. There was a swing set that was like knocked over and a bunch of dirt, and we were out there walking at night, and I went to go take a picture of it, and I heard this voice like, "Get off the property," and I was like, "Oh God, I'm sorry. I thought this would make a cool album cover someday." Yeah, it was like a bus and a tree. I think it was taken on Thanksgiving.
Oh.
Was there any Thanksgiving themed songs on that album?
Yeah, they're all Thanksgiving themed.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Do you try to make holiday playlists?
It's hard. I mean, most of the time it's just like Jesus Christ by Big Star like 15 times in a row. But but I'm working on a summer playlist right now, and it's gonna kill it. But I need like a month more of like incubation before it's like there.
Yeah, so you'll have it just in time for summer. It's good that you got started early.
Oh yeah.
I tend to like try to make a Thanksgiving playlist the morning of Thanksgiving, and I can only think of like, a couple of songs that have the word thanks in them. There's one Now It's Overhead song that actually directly references Thanksgiving.
But Thanksgiving is coming, and you have such a wonderful scar here.
Do you have like pivotal Saddle Creek albums in your past?
Oh geez, I was a really big Bright Eyes fan growing up. Mainly, I mean, started with Wide Awake It's Morning, and then kind of went and got into Lifted and got into Fevers and Mirrors and stuff. But Wide Awake is definitely like that's what came back. And I'm obviously like you, a huge fan of Hop Along for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That new Big Thief band is really great too.
Yeah, Big Thief is
excited
awesome.
about them. Yeah. Besides that, I don't know. I feel like I'm the Rural Alberta Advantage I was into when I was like 15 or something.
I know that one song of theirs that has like the really quick drums.
Yeah. Don't Haunt This Place.
Don't Haunt This Place. Yeah.
Dude's doing like breaks.
Yeah,
under,
that's a great song.
Yeah.
Don't haunt this heart, don't haunt this place. I've been slow as the beats out of pace. West side apartment grows lonely and dark. West side apartment is two more empty hearts.
The Rural Alberta Advantage.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tongue twister.
Yep.
I'd like to ask them, hey, where do you guys come up with your band
That-
name? We
that
thought it'd be
was
really
a-
shitty to name our band that.
That's a super 2008 thing though. Is like just like what's the worst band name we could think of, and then
When we were
we'll use
coming up
that.
with our band names, maybe this has been the same for you because you've recorded under various names.
I've had my fair share of terrible band names.
So,
yeah.
like, I remember we were like 2 words or 3 words.
No,
Yeah.
just either. Yeah.
So no, our band had a terrible name. Our band was called Subjection Casual, and
Jesus.
the way I came up with that name was I wanted to have it be 2 words and I wanted to end with casual
Cool.
because
So
the band.
subjection is the obvious way to go there.
Yeah, I think we looked at a dictionary. Because the band Beep Beep had an album called Business Casual.
Saving my strength, cause you're gonna come home tonight.
I liked the name,
Yeah.
but I was like, Business Casual. We can't. We're a teenage punk band. We're not like a bunch of 40-year-old guys in suits. Like that's or like a jazz quartet would be
Yeah.
Business
You're not
Casual.
get sponsored by J. Crew.
Yeah, so I think we looked through a dictionary, which is how Alkaline Trio named their band too. But they started at the beginning of the dictionary and didn't look for too long.
Pixies did that too.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
What's a good example of a band name that ruined the band's career?
Oh, boy, that's a great question.
You know what I mean?
Hoobastank?
Hoobastank. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Is there any band that has a good band name story that's real? Like I know Rilo Kiley had a lot of fictional ones. They were like, it's a Brazilian soccer player that we all love.
Really?
That's what they said. Yeah.
So last time that I talked to you on the show, you were still going by Eddie Front, and that name is now gone, right?
Done. Yeah.
So what happened there? What was the reason for that?
I was just like weirded out. I think I just weirded myself out. I was like, I don't know. I chose that name and I kind of like instantly regretted it in a way.
Okay.
And then like I was like, okay, I'll put this record out under that name, my last record. And then I was like, well, I'm done with that. So yeah, just it's like a clean slate.
Since then, you've been doing like some like collaborative stuff.
Yep, did some collaborative stuff, maybe like middle of last year, and now I'm just recording like another record. It's come out under my own name, yeah.
Yeah, under your name. So does that feel different? Does that feel like weird to, like?
I don't know, like, honestly, when I did that, I was working with these managers, when I did, like, the Eddie Front, I was working with managers, I had all the Ivana XL stuff out for, like, many years, and they were like, we have to like come out as brand new, like you're a brand new person. And I was like, okay, like, you know, just went along with it for PR.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, what am I doing? Like, that's not my name. So yeah, it's nice. It's like kind of a relief.
By the way, highly recommend going back in like the Spin magazine articles about Rilo Kiley are so old that they're like in Google Archive, like they're scans. But I didn't realize how shitty members of Rilo Kiley were to each other in print while they were still a band.
Really?
Like they were awful. Like they were like trying to be Fleetwood Mac. Like they were trying to, and they did not hide the fact that they hated each other.
Mm-hmm.
In print, and that like I don't know, like everybody hated Jenny hated everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Blake hated himself and Jenny Lewis. It was awesome to read. I read it recently.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of good band I mean, or purposeful good band names. Nickelback's pretty good.
That they have a story.
They do.
That's a coherent story.
Yeah, do you guys know that? For listeners of the podcast and also for anybody else in the room that isn't Zach, because I think Zach knows this story, but Chad Kroeger of the titular Nickelback.
You mean Avril Lavigne's husband?
yeah. Prince of Canada, Chad Kroeger, used to work at a 7-Eleven, and when somebody got a Slurpee, they were 95 cents, so we give them a nickel back, and they spelled nickel wrong and made it one word, and that's how the band started. Yeah.
Do you ever
Really
think
good. The Beatles is a worse band name, though? I have to say, for sure.
Sometimes I think about Derek Whibley, former frontman of Sum 41,
Mm-hmm.
who has had many of his own. He's had a lot of struggles. He had a lot of problems with addiction, and he like nearly died. And he's on his way to recovery, and good for him and everything. But sometimes I think about Derek Whibley, who goes like, "Oh my God, my wife left me and married the guy from Nickelback." How do you find the strength to go on?
Okay. Crazier thing is that "Cry Me a River" by Justin Timberlake is about Britney Spears cheating on him with Fred Durst.
Oh my God!
So
that era is horrible.
Oh yeah, garbage.
Like,
absolutely garbage.
Wipe it from the earth.
Those were my formative years. Was the early 2000s. So
I'm sorry for you.
I know. Yeah.
So to go back, what I wanted to get to about the album was that I feel like from the opening chords, the opening guitar riff of the first track of this album, I was like, this is a great leap forward, like this is a like when I heard not to like be too aggrandizing or anything, but when I heard Deja Entendu after hearing Your Favorite Weapon, I was like, what the fuck did they found some shit in between these albums.
Yeah,
they found some other thing, and I feel like you found some other shit.
Yeah,
and that was really exciting. And so I wanted to know like what you were thinking about as you set out to make this album, what you were trying to do that you hadn't done before. And like how much when you think about making an album now, even making an album is kind of an antiquated thing in some ways, because like Drake is trying to make it into destroy it as an art form. So even making one now, I feel like it's a very intentional thing. Maybe I'm wrong, but what was the plan, and how much did you succeed?
Well, the succeeding is it's probably not up to me to say, but
yeah, okay.
But I think the jump forward there, a lot of it is just straight up confidence. Like it's honestly just like knowing that you can make something cool, and like also like I changed my vocal style a lot between the record before that. I mean, maybe it's not super obvious to people who listen to the records, but just hit a different part of the register, and that definitely ushered in some new stuff, and also just my thinking patterns changed a little bit, and kind of just wanted to make it good, and not as a medium to jump my my success up or anything like that. Like it was mainly just like, how can I really try to just sit down and make a great record, and obviously you don't think that when you're making it, like you're just you're just like making one more, so I just started writing songs, and I cut a ton of songs from the record too. I think a lot of it was honestly just like diligence, and like not like giving up after I just kept like cutting, but
cutting because things were not like up to your quality, or because they just didn't fit with the way that the album flows?
Probably like an even 50-50 between the both of those,
Yeah.
honestly. I'm happy that I got kind of like 10 solid tracks that all fit together like that. That was something that I'm definitely very happy with, But yeah, I mean, I don't know how much of a conscious thing it was. I think there were a lot of things that just kind of like naturally happened in my life that made it, kind of easier to tap into somewhere different, than the usual indie folk singer-songwriter thing. Also, just like stop listening to Father John Misty. It's a great way to make better music.
That is okay. So I felt like I could pick up on, there's
list those influences off, bro.
the first thing that made me think of was Elliott Smith.
Cool. Yeah, I get that a lot.
So Elliott Smith, but then also because Elliott Smith is like Beatles, Beach Boys.
Yep.
So that's back there.
Yeah.
But then some of the guitar stuff I was like, this is like Ryan Adams when he gives a fuck.
Oh, cool.
Hell
yeah.
And then the second half of the album too, as it shifts a little bit. It's not as electric, and there were like some of especially with some of the effects and some of the chords and everything. I was like, oh, a little Devendra Banhart going on in here, even. That's like a little bit of that salt and pepper happening in there.
Nice.
Not so big, it's not so big. Just needed to be outside for a while. It's not so big, it's not so big. Just needed to be outside for a while. All the people who love you take all that you know, empty you out, bring you back to the store. It's not so big, you just needed to be outside.
Are you afraid of like you talked about not listening to Father John Misty? Are you afraid of things influencing you too much and accidentally parroting somebody?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
How do you keep it about yourself?
I think a lot of that is just like there are some influences that I have that have lasted my whole life, and so now they've kind of transcended me just like ripping it off. And it's more about just like my interpretation of stuff, and part of that too is that I don't think that I think that you can rip a lot of things off without people knowing it too. An easier way to do that is just to kind of expand your musical horizons and then just like rip off stuff that people don't know as well. There's a big Byrds influence on Sumo, and I feel like the Byrds aren't necessarily in that same group of like Beatles, Beach Boys, like that type of stuff. It's not as big. The Kinks were also a huge influence on Sumo as well. So yeah, a lot of the influences are kind of catered to where I want to go, and I'll pick a lot of what I listen to musically because of that. And that also makes it that I don't really enjoy music as much as I used to, because a lot of it is like to make this, it's input for an output.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get back into my 2009 recording on a MacBook thing. I mean, not even that I'm actually doing that, but like I'm, listening to some of the same music I was then, and watching some of the same movies I was then, and
So like you're literally, that's what you're talking about. You're talking about like literally trying to recapture the mindset that you were in by watching the same things you were watching.
Mm-hmm.
But don't you think that like, so say you watch whatever movie it was that like my old big landmark movies like Memento and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and whatever. Don't you think that the stuff that you've done or experienced since colors it so much that you can't go back, or can you go back? Can you travel through time?
I think I use this to my advantage because you can understand it greater when you've been through stuff and you understand the things that have influenced it and are being influenced by it. And like I was listening to that first Paul Simon solo record today, and the first track on that, like the Mother and Child Reunion or whatever. I remember hearing that when I was a kid, and I was like, oh, this is kind of a cool song. And then I listened to it now, and I'm like, oh, he's like ripping off like the Paragons. He's like doing like a Rocksteady thing. Like, oh, okay. And that thing makes you understand it more. I never see experience in that way as like as a limiting thing. Like I can't get back to my childhood or whatever. Because if I was trying to get back into the very surface level kind of like vain way I understood some of the films that I watched then, the way I do now, then I would just be doing a disservice to those films and records. So, I think that surrounding myself with the culture that might have bred some of my artistic urges it's almost like having just like a painting in the room that you like, you know. It's like it's something where like
Yeah.
it just kind of reminds you of like where it started and like where you can go from that. And
I should try that.
yeah, no, I mean it's great. Like especially like not even like the good stuff either, like the garbage stuff, you know, like some of the stuff that like you might have even hated at that point, but just seeing it again might just spark something in your brain that goes back, you know. But I also do very much wish that music was still like a fun, you know, like no stake in it, like just like doing whatever I want. That's where I'm trying to get with this next record, because now that SUMO is like the first like good album that I made, you know, or at least to my standard, like I'm kind of like restarting now, so I'm trying to do that more actively.
So SUMO came out what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? You're already thinking about the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like the main driving force? Like you're kind of like moving from album to album. Is it playing shows in between, or because I think some people maybe make records so they can play live shows.
Yeah. I'm the kind of the total opposite. Like I grew up listening to records. I don't like live shows very much. Like I enjoy them definitely. I mean, you know, they can be really cathartic experiences, but most of the time it's just me getting mad about a drunk person being too loud or something, and I can't control, you know, or like the person mixing it or whatever.
Enjoying concerts despite the other people at concerts is probably like the defining struggle of my life. Like we're going to see Conor Oberst in Hopalong tonight. And it's like 9 a.m. right now, and I'm already doing the work mentally that I'm gonna need to do. I'm getting the mantras ready and the kind of like the empathy for others required to like get through this shit. Movies are like a smaller but more frequent battlefield in this same war. Like I absolutely love going to the movies, but I'm just always so paranoid about like the loud eaters or old talkers that are going to be near me. And I've been on like a hot streak recently. Christy and I have gone to the movies every week for like the last month. Wonder Woman, real good. Baby Driver, real good. Spider-Man Homecoming, insanely great. The Big Sick, also really great. Those are my reviews. But like nobody bothered us at the theater the whole time. Hopefully the debt is not going to be repaid tonight. Christy and I are at Modern Pastry in Boston right now. Listen, okay? Anybody who tells you that Mike's Pastry is the best pastry in Boston is either an idiot tourist. Thank you. Either an idiot tourist or someone who's totally blinded by advertising and brand loyalty. Modern Pastry is where it's at. The plan is to eat our way from the North End to the House of Blues for Conor Oberst tonight. But we started with a giant pastry, so we'll see how this goes. So now we're at the Upper Crust Pizza on Charles Street. A place where years ago I controlled a corporate account. Happy memories. Anyway, Christy, how are you enjoying your pizza? What was that? You heard it here first, folks. We have paused our Boston food odyssey, and we're at Newbury Comics right now. Mackenzie works here sometimes. Wouldn't it be great if we ran into him during a digression in his episode? But he's not here. Oh well, would have been awesome. We're at our final food destination, the Lansdowne Pub, eating salads. Who designed this menu? Christopher Nolan? Anyway, in a couple of minutes, we're going to head next door to see Hopalong and Conor Oberst. Pretty good day, pretty good food day. Although this beer I'm drinking is gross.
our Boston food music odyssey has ended. We're driving through Chelsea right now, eating our final meal for the day, Ritz crackers and jelly beans. Really satisfying after a long day. Not together, by the way, like one course of crackers, then a course of jelly beans. Anyway. How did we start this whole thing? Oh, it was about fellow audience member anxiety, right? It was fine. There were these two girls kind of to the left of us who were a little, like, I just had to pretend that they were a Portlandia sketch, and then it was fine. No issues, basically. So you're a studio...
Yeah.
When I say studio, like let's talk tech specs
bedroom,
for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's one thing. This does not sound like an album that was recorded in your bedroom.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get specific.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of your tricks? What are some of your recording? You don't have to spill all your secrets, but for people out there who do this kind of thing,
Yeah, for the 50 Spotify monthly listeners that I have, everybody trying to cop my style, I can give some hints.
Yeah, like what was the weirdest recording setup that you did for this album or for something else?
For this record, I think I had a somewhat of a better understanding of how things worked. But I don't have any sort of like formal recording training or anything like that. Like I had a great teacher in high school who helped me out a lot, and I basically just took this one class for a year. That was me sitting in a closet with a MacBook the whole time, or an iMac, and that taught me a lot. But most of my recording is very, very informal, me just trying random shit. So I was with this band that was we were trying to be a hardcore band, but because I like pop music too much, we wound up kind of sounding more like the Foo Fighters or something. But this was like a few years ago, and we actually took a jar that originally had like cheese balls in it, and then burned a hole in the side of it, stuck an XLR cable through it, and then put a piece of cardboard on the top of it, cut a hole out of it that was the right size for an SM57, and then mic'd a snare from the bottom doing that, and didn't do anything else with it. So a lot of like my recording like tricks and techniques for me being like, I don't want to go out and buy something. I'm going to tie this around to this thing and hope it works, So this record was definitely probably my most conventional, but by actual studio standards, it probably is still like, what the fuck are you doing,
Yeah. Hey, while we're talking tech specs, in case anybody's interested, the last podcast is primarily recorded on an H4n Zoom mic. I think it retails for like $250. I borrowed it from Jory like 5 years ago. A lot of the time when I interview people, it's over Skype, and they're just recording their half of the conversation on their side. When I talk to people in person, sometimes it's just a microphone on a table, and sometimes we use two handheld stick mics that I borrowed from Morgan. And then, of course, several pieces of the podcast are recorded on my iPhone while I'm walking shosh like I'm doing right now. When I first started doing the podcast, since I didn't know anything other than video, I just made videos and then took the visual part out. I have obviously graduated from that, but I still edit everything in Final Cut Pro. I have this like eventual goal to learn Pro Tools whenever it is that I can afford a new computer. So this podcast may take like a great technological leap forward. Realistically, like season 6. I like that though. Like that was the way that Jory and I came up too. Was like Jory built a dolly out of PVC pipe for cameras one time. And very early on, I remember in our 16-year-old sketch comedy days, we had some kind of sketch where like someone pulls a Jenga piece out of the middle of a Jenga board and it stays suspended in the air. Like that's like the world's greatest Jenga player. They can pull out all the pieces and the board doesn't fall.
Yeah.
And I think we did it with like a boom mic stand and duct tape and cardboard, and that was more. The sketch itself wasn't even very funny, but it was fun to do that.
Yeah. You unlocked something doing that.
And I have a very strong memory of doing some kind of like movie night thing at one of our friends' houses, and we were setting up a projector with to project the movie on the wall, and we were like wiring the stereo so that there was a subwoofer under the couch, all this other stuff, and we were just having fun setting this up. And this girl who was there who was not often around us said my friends don't put this much effort into anything, and this is just to watch a movie. And I was like, but that's more fun than watching a movie.
Oh, yeah.
You know what's something I remember about that kind of era in our lives is I remember one day we were watching a movie or two at your house, and we were setting up a projector and speakers, and this might have been one of the times we were using multiple TVs, like we were putting the movie on 3 or 4 screens, or it might have just been a projector.
Were you talking about because we set up a movie night thing in my room down in the basement, but then we also did that whole outdoor drive-in movie theater style thing
before it even expanded to the drive-in.
Oh, okay.
Before even that, I remember one day we were setting up the stereo and the something, and Beth was there.
Oh yeah.
She was watching us do this stuff, and she said, "My friends never put this much effort into anything."
Yeah,
and I remember that. I remember that so strongly because at the time I thought this is the least effort we've ever put into anything.
Right, we are just strapping this shit together and just haphazardly, is this gonna work?
Yeah.
All
but
right.
But that was what we did all the time, every day. And I feel so lucky in retrospect that first of all that we all found each other to have the same interest in doing that kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
But also that nobody ever stopped us.
Right.
It's so weird.
Yeah, I mean it's I look back and a lot of the as much as I'm not fond of the education that I got in high school, on the whole it was, I think one of the biggest takeaways though was being surrounded by people, both faculty and friends, that were so supportive of the crazy shit that we did that I don't think really a lot of other people understood or had any interest in understanding.
So building the microphone setup for the snare drum or whatever, that's part of the fun.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, I do when I say that I record everything in my bedroom, I really do, and the acoustics aren't good in there at all either. So they do kind of paint the record. I mean, I think a lot of the reason why it might sound more professionally recorded than anything is just overdubbing, which is just recording the same guitar part 3 or 4 times, and that can give the illusion of an actual good room sound or anything like that. So a lot of it is just kind of compromising and thinking of well, like you said, just using duct tape or random shit and kind of doing what you're working with. Also, just having very clear influences on the things that you like and kind of moving that way. I mean, I'm just now taking the towels off of my drums, and I was so stubborn about every drum head I ever have having towels on it. So. And also it's I'm a young man, so I'm gonna be stubborn in the way I do stuff, and having those kind of stubborn qualities makes it a lot easier to kind of have a unified idea or a theme, creable aesthetically, not so much the actual creation of it, but the sound of it and things like that.
Yeah. So you said this is the first album that you played your own drums on.
Yeah.
Does that mean that you are new to playing drums?
Kind of. I mean, I've been air drumming my whole life, but I've had friends record. The person who produced my first record, Griffin, and my friend Derek, who's my live drummer. He did everything on Big History, and he does drum on one track on the new one, But yeah, it's my first time really doing it, and a lot of I will give this secret away. A lot of my timing is Logic's grid function, so it is somewhat synthetic, the timing of the drums, but I'm getting there, and it's I'm probably going to record the next record on tape, so I can't really do that. But yeah, I mean the drums are a great part of it because I'm very particular about how I like drums sounding, and I also you know, I think it just all sounds way better together if it's the same person doing everything too. That's why, you know, so many of my favorite albums are made by one person pretty much.
That's maybe why I was thinking about Elliott Smith part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, part of it I think is your voice and your singing style and everything. And, you know, you have like you're like a good singer, which is like a rare thing in like music, you know, like most of the singers I like aren't good. Like, so, you know, in the sense of what the word good would mean.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, but the part of it is like, yeah, I remember being blown away when I was like, oh, Elliott Smith like even played like the drums on like Division Day and like those ones that I, you know,
those are like 8-track tape machine recordings too. So impressive that he could do all that overdubbing with it as well.
Yeah, and I don't know. I have the hardest time even conceiving of like, oh, shosh. Oh, what the hell? To a special mini episode of Are Ye Talkin' Arcade Fire in May. I'm your host, Little.
And I'm your other host, Little.
And today we're here with Colby Seavey. Kelly Colby Seavey, to be specific.
Who used to be Little.
Yeah, who used to be a Little, our mother. And we wanted to talk to you about the suburbs because you listened to this podcast and you said, which Arcade Fire album should I buy? Mm-hmm. And I said the suburbs, and Morgan said, no, not the suburbs. And you said, I already bought the suburbs. Mm-hmm. And so...
and I love the suburbs. And then you guys started dissing the suburbs on your podcast.
I don't think I dissed the suburbs very much.
I was an open proponent of dissing the suburbs, but which I'm back to again.
Okay. So... Now, that was the first Arcade Fire album that you've heard, like, knowingly,
It's basically the only Arcade Fire album I've heard.
Yeah. Okay, so, and what were your initial thoughts when you turned it on? Were you like, this makes sense, and this is something my sons like, or this is weird?
Oh, no. It definitely made sense that it was something that you guys liked, but it was also something that spoke to me because I, unlike you, grew up in the suburbs. You really don't know what growing up in the suburbs is.
That's true.
And like when I heard songs like The Sprawl, that's definitely something that happened to my hometown. I'm not sure that it happened to your hometown.
It did not.
So, so as I listened to it, that's what I thought of. I thought of Newburyport, Massachusetts, because that's where I grew up. So.
And you also successfully located and used the Wilderness downtown.
I did, and I loved that. Yeah.
So that answers one question that I think we left dangling on the podcast. Does the website still
work? It does work. Yeah,
it does still work.
It does, although when you do it,
right?
Yeah, you do it on your computer, and of course, it's today's version of what that address looks like, which is not necessarily what the address looked like when I grew up there.
Sure, but they aren't.
But, I know you can't plug in 1975
satellite photos from pretty cool if they could though.
They will
but
be
it was
some point.
still
at some point they'll be able to.
It was still really cool though to watch it and see my current neighborhood on the video.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have any particular standout tracks? Like if you were writing a review of this album, at the bottom you'd be like, all right, key tracks.
God, Zach.
I can go through them. There's the suburbs.
Yep.
There's Ready to Start.
Yep.
There's Month of May, our namesake titular podcast.
Yep.
Song.
Yep.
There's Sprawl. I mean,
Sprawl 2
1,
and original Sprawl.
Yeah.
Right.
What else is in there? Rococo, the song that we do not speak its name. Thank you.
Yeah. No.
Whatever.
I think the sprawl. I think the sprawl or the suburbs are the only ones that I can recall at this moment that spoke to me. So I can't really tell you at this moment.
Well,
since you sprung this on me at a family gathering,
I think I have been hinting that we were going to record this for a while.
I will say I write it all down ahead of time because when we're doing the podcast,
right,
you would ask me about it and I'd be like,
right,
I don't know. Like I would name.
I found a recording on this phone of a bunch of notes that I wanted to talk about during our Neon Bible episode.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's like 5 unbroken minutes. I said literally none of it in the episode. Totally 5 minutes of new insight.
Did you? Well, I was going to say, did you have some revelation when listening to it that you didn't bring up on the episode?
No, I mean,
do you actually love the Neon Bible?
I think what I realized was that it's as much an album about how religion is bad as it is about driving a car. And I undersold the part that's about just driving cars. Right. But other than that, okay, so my last question for you is, do you think it seems just that the suburbs won a Grammy over Lady Gaga and Eminem that year?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And if I listen to it again tomorrow and I have further insight, I'll let you know.
Yeah, you can call me and just leave a voicemail on it because that's always a cool effect for the podcast.
All right, I'll do that. I've actually only listened to the album 2 or 3 times at this point.
Yeah.
So.
That's probably about as many times as Morgan has listened to it.
Yeah, that's true.
How would you rank Arcade Fire albums?
Oh, I'm so happy about this. Listening to the podcast, even though I appreciate Morgan's perspective and I understand everything that he thinks, Neon Bible is absolutely maybe third. I don't know. I was going to say it's fourth, but I'd probably say Reflector is my least favorite. And then so I'd go probably Funeral, Suburbs, Neon Bible, Reflector. I mean, that's probably the most boring way to go about it, but it's it's the way that and Neon Bible was the first Arcade Fire record I got into as well. Actually, I played on Saturday Night Live, so but yeah, I love that. I think that Wynn's, especially lyrical writing, is definitely a huge influence on me. I don't know if it comes across her at all, or if I'm even hitting the same areas that he is, but
I would be the wrong person to ask because I tune out all of his lyrics. But yeah, I think that makes sense. But also, okay, the fact that Neon Bible was the one that you got in on is such an interesting path in. And probably a rarer one.
I didn't hear Funeral until after I heard The Suburbs, so...
That's wild.
Yeah, I know.
I like that, though. I love that because, like, I remember, like, the version of this for me is the lame version, which is that I started listening to Blink-182 at Enema of the State and encountered all these fans who were like, if you didn't listen to him since Dude Ranch, you're not a real fan kind of thing. And I was like, fucking, I remember seeing Damn It on MTV. Like, it's not that cool. Like, it's not like some underground thing that
totally
you guys knew about. Yeah. But people have that bias, and the positive version of that I have been trying to create is like I'm always so interested the order in which people get into these like long established bands, so like people who are like, so if you're for your Bright Eyes thing was like in it I'm Wide Awake, so that's really interesting.
Well, were you in it like since like, well, I don't even know if Letting Off the Happiness didn't even have like a full release until after, right?
No, yeah, I was in it at Lifted.
Okay,
so I think, as I've said on this podcast before, I have a photographic memory for everything I read in Rolling Stone from 2005 to 2011.
That's great.
And you know why? Is because there was like no internet, or there was only a little bit of an internet.
Yeah.
So I was like also like I was on like AbsolutePunk.net and like a couple like You Ain't No Picasso and all those like music blogs.
Yeah.
When those came about, but before that, it was like before the internet was so accessible that people were able to find their area, you had to like find it in like the corners of magazines.
Yeah.
So I like knew instinctively which pages of Rolling Stone to look at. Wow. And I read about the Bright Eyes song Make War. And I was like made a mental note about Bright Eyes, searched Bright Eyes on LimeWire, found Method Acting, was the first song I found.
Oh wow. Okay.
And that was the way in. And then
Interesting.
I purchased Lifted on the way to an Alkaline Trio concert. And it was like I was in the car with Christy and my uncle, and we put that on, and it was like, all twangy and like lap steel guitar, and we were on our way to a pop punk show, and they were like, what the fuck's this? And so it was like eject. But then later on we went back and listened to it. We were like, oh, okay.
Do you think that Conor Oberst's fixation on country and folk music and fusing that with kind of like, I don't want to say young feelings, but whatever, do you think that might have caused the the terror of the Mumford & Sons period, or
my
the
God.
Lumineers period?
Holy shit. Holy shit. This is a terrifying theory.
yeah. Putting folk music into the grander emotional spectrum of like,
well, because like we on the podcast we always blame Arcade Fire, but because of their like old timey dress, but like but musically it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, they were way more. Honestly, I think Arcade Fire is a Bruce Springsteen tribute band a lot of the time.
Yeah,
Funeral
sure.
totally is.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, it probably is Bright Eyes' fault.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, and he's also doing a ton of crazy stuff too. The first Bright Eyes song I think I heard. What's the video with him writing on the screen? It's like he's doing like
Easy Lucky Free.
That's the first song I heard. What album is that on?
Digital Ash.
Oh, I've never really got into Digital Ash, so that's funny. Okay,
well, it came out at the same time as I'm Wide Awake.
It's the same
so
day,
you would
right?
have, you would have found it.
Yeah.
Do you know that? I think so. Bright Eyes is like the last act to have number 1 and number 2 hit on the Billboard.
Wow.
Whatever on the same day, and the person before them who did that was Puff Daddy.
It wasn't one of the like 300 Prince albums that came out digitally in the 2000s.
Well, that's the problem, is that nobody knew what the hell Prince was doing all that time. Like now that Prince is dead, people are going back and being like, "Oh shit, Prince put out all these other albums."
Oh yeah,
Like, what was he doing?
Okay, you know what's really frustrating? Prince's last album was his 39th album, and then he died.
Oh man,
how depressing is that, right? Absolute bummer.
Isn't it crazy though to think about the discography of some people? Like, it's like Willie Nelson has like 80 LPs or something. It's like, what the hell?
Oh, there's some people like getting into it. Like, I'm a big fan of like Frank Zappa and like Sun Ra, and it's like you're never gonna get into that whole discography. As hard as you try, it's never gonna happen. There's like so many of them.
It's crazy, and I don't know. I guess I've never even like counted the number of like Conor Oberst LPs or something, like the number of,
Or would you count all the different projects too?
Yeah. Because Morgan and I are talking about doing a Bright Eyes podcast, and I don't know what we're signing up for.
Oh, yeah.
Clear Bright Eyes, Full Hearts Can't Lose. It's gonna be
Well, you're gonna be. yeah. You talked about that in the Arcade Fire one, right? Yeah. Okay. Also, one thing I wanted to ask you about. Is it Arcade Fire or the Arcade Fire, and do you get mad if the person doesn't agree with you on what it is?
I think it's either. I think they go by Arcade Fire.
Yeah.
Without the.
I also say that.
But I think that they are the band that they're the most article proof. So you can so like it doesn't matter if you say the Arcade Fire, it doesn't sound wrong. Where like if you said the U2.
Yeah, you sound like an Eastern European dude with like a big chain or something.
Yeah. You guys like the U2?
I love America.
Fedge.
Bow now. Well, also the first Arcade Fire song I ever heard was "Keep the Car Running" too, which I feel like might have set a weird precedent for what's going on, because I kind of immediately was like, "Oh, they're the hurdy-gurdy band." Okay, I understand what they are.
I think that makes more sense that you would immediately jump to Springsteen too, because that's like maybe their most. That was when Bruce Springsteen was going to sing a song with them. It was like, no duh, he picked that one.
Yeah.
What Bruce Springsteen's not going to be like, hey, let's do Crown of Love. I don't know what's like a really what's a weird one.
Whatever the French one is on
Haiti.
Yeah.
You know what's an underrated Arcade Fire song that Bruce Springsteen would do a great version of? Is Headlights Look Like Diamonds.
Ooh, yeah. Well, I don't think Bruce Springsteen would. Well, I mean, Bruce Springsteen probably doesn't know any Arcade Fire songs. He's probably just like roped into it by his like 20-something PR guy. But
yeah, maybe that's true. I don't know. I want to believe that.
Have you heard
Bruce
Springsteen
cool.
sing for U2?
No, I heard about that when Bono got in a bike accident or whatever.
That is a goddamn mess. It's too goofy. It'd be like Tom Waits singing for them. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, Bruce Springsteen sounds like Tom Waits half the time.
True, yeah.
That's an interesting thought. Like, what happens to people's voices? Now, this is different. This is a different concern for you and me.
Yeah.
Because I'm a person who talks and you're a person who sings.
Yeah, and I only drink buttermilk all day, so I don't have any...
So you're fine?
Totally
Your vocal
fine.
cords are going to be preserved in amber?
Yeah.
Well, because I think my voice has changed a lot over the years, which is funny because I sound like I never had puberty, but it was way worse. It used to be worse. And there was a time, like in the 5th grade, when I hit puberty before everybody else, when I was the low-voiced guy.
Oh.
Which is really weird to imagine that I was the guy with the low voice. But people's voices change so much over time.
Yeah.
And like fucking Leonard Cohen.
Yeah.
Like Leonard Cohen went off to become a monk or something and just came back like he'd just been eating rocks the whole time. It's like, what happens to people? And a lot of like Bob Dylan.
I was just gonna say Dylan's discography. He's like 10 different people throughout the whole thing. That's probably why Todd Haynes made the movie about it. But
I remember when he did. What's happening with you? When I first heard "Lay Lady Lay," I was like beginning to get into Bob Dylan, and I heard "Lay Lady Lay," and I was like, "Who's singing this song?"
The Nashville Skyline version.
I think so.
Okay, yeah.
When he's like, real low voice and smoky and whatever, and it was like, I was like, who sings this? Mm-hmm. Like, oh, this is a Bob Dylan song, but somebody else sings it. Maybe it's like one jug of wine, 2 vessels, or whatever. But no, that's still Bob Dylan.
Well, if you look at the jump between John Wesley Harding and Nashville Skyline, like I think that's like 1 year, and he goes from normal Dylan to being like, ooh, like Dylan, like a parody of himself or something. Like he becomes like a country crooner, and it's really strange.
Was that motorcycle accident?
Yes, yeah, that's exactly what it is. But yeah, no, I mean he. It is so weird seeing him age throughout what I mean. I don't even know what the fuck he's doing now, but I know he's like covering Sinatra with the voice that is the least suitable for Sinatra covering, I think, on the earth.
I feel like it's almost on purpose though. Like, what's the worst thing I could do?
Yeah,
it's an interesting whatever's going on with him, like this experiment. It's like it's an old man preoccupation, but I'm fine with that. Like he's like, oh, I'm gonna record the American Songbook. Like it's like the next one's gonna be nursery rhymes.
Yeah, exactly. And
I think that's fine. And I like that Bob Dylan is he's never changed about being a dick.
Yep.
Like he didn't care about winning a Nobel Prize. He won't ever care about anything.
Yeah.
When the day that Bob Dylan dies will be a horrible day. Like I'm not equipped for that. But
what's your top 3 celebrity dying? Holy shit! I'm not gonna get out of bed for a week.
Connor Oberst.
Let's go old people here. Let's go people that's going to happen in the next 10 years.
Most of the old people I'm not that worried about. I will be sad. I'll be very upset when Bob Dylan dies.
Okay.
I'll be very sad when Bruce Springsteen dies.
Mm-hmm. He's gonna be hot as hell when he dies, though. He's gonna be as hot as he is now when he dies. He's never gonna be never not gonna be hot.
I think Bruce Springsteen is protecting himself with just like layers of muscle.
Yeah, leather.
It's like whatever he's doing, he's like, no, I'm gonna build an extra body outside of my body.
Look at the mecha suit on top of him.
I love that plan, though. I love that plan. Like when that's my plan. When I get old, I'm gonna get Bruce Springsteen style ripped. I'm gonna see how big my chest can possibly get.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's amazing he can even still play a guitar.
Yeah, exactly.
In that weird Bruce Springsteen jagged stab way that he plays guitar. I watch him play guitar and I'm like, that guitar's not plugged in. It's so weird. It's like he's not playing in a way that makes any sense.
Oh yeah, no, not at all. It looks like it hurts him to do it.
Yeah,
but it's because of the raw emotion coming out of it, talking about girl on the other side of the tracks.
Yeah,
you need that physical pain to match that emotional pain. So just play your guitar like you don't know how to play guitar. Just with the right behind where your fingernail starts. That's the right way to do it.
Yeah.
You look like
Do you like have to consciously make time to like write music? Does it happen when you're walking down the street and then you have to like run home and record a thing, or do you have to like sit down? Do you sit down and write, or does it just happen to you in the course of your life and your adventures?
It is. What's weird is that it used to be I would have to like sit down and just play guitar for a few hours and try to stumble upon something, and now it does hit me out of the blue, and it's really weird. I mean, the good thing is that I live in the absolute like best time for that. I mean, I can just wherever I am, like I can either be on like a loud train, I can still like put my phone into my mouth and just do like a voice memo of it. So that part's great. But you know, and a lot of it's garbage too. But most of it does kind of come out of nowhere now. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it's some song that I heard earlier in the week or something that's like sparking it on. But you know, I'd like to think that it's some divine thing. Definitely, like you know, I self mythologize to a point for sure.
Well, I mean, I think I don't know that much. The more I learn about how like your brain works, and like, we were talking about the fidgety. What's the fidgety?
Fidget spinners? Yeah,
fidget spinners. that there is like research to suggest that like you know what. I sound like I'm giving a fucking TED talk right now, but like you know, like I had an idea for the video that we shot earlier out in the woods when I was mowing the lawn earlier, because I had nothing to think about, so it just. Your brain just starts working instead. But you know, I've reached a point in my life where sometimes I have like limited time to like work on things, so you have to like okay, be creative now, you know. And it's like and it works. Sometimes that's the only thing that works. Sometimes it's the only thing that you have to just sit down and just start doing it. But other times, the best stuff I think just comes to you, and it's good because then you can just believe that it was like sent to you.
Meant to happen. Yeah, totally. I mean, if you like read any interviews with like Fiona Apple and how she does her stuff,
Fiona Apple's one of those people that I would probably try to avoid hearing things from. Like I like Fiona Apple, but I feel like too much talking might ruin it.
Well, if you want to hear an hour of people who don't know how to talk to other people trying to talk to each other, watch the Iconoclast between Fiona Apple and Quentin Tarantino. Very interesting. But one thing that she says is the reason why she puts out records so infrequently is because she spends most of her time trying to basically like get herself in the mental position where she can go outside and hold the key up to the air and wait for the lightning to hit it. So that's why, I mean, it takes her forever to write music, but I think most of it is that, you know, like I feel like, and this is the most fucking Whole Foods thing I've ever said in my life, but I think that when I stopped eating meat, I became a better artist. I think that anything that gets your brain a little clearer, like when I started meditating, I became a better artist. You know, just something that that kind of like tunes you in with how your brain naturally works, instead of the cheese-driven brain that most Americans are kind of living on.
It totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Like when I started to be like, and it goes in fits and starts. When I started to be more serious about like getting exercise and stuff, like I got smarter.
Yeah, like whenever I do yoga, I'll usually write something.
Yoga, yeah, man, yoga rules. Okay, yeah. So now, what about like, do you have any kind of system of? This is my problem as a creative person in the age of 10 million different apps and whatevers, and also I'm also like a 50 notebook person.
Oh,
like I've got one dedicated notebook right now.
Yeah.
And it's been amazing. But how do you keep yourself and your brain organized, or do you not?
I mean, iPhone notes and voice memos are huge parts of it. Definitely. I'm a textbook millennial for sure. I've tried to write on the physical form a few times, and it just doesn't work out as well as I would like it to. I get really anxious about crossing things out and, you know, writing something that I might not think is perfect later. And, you know,
this is where we get to the age. This is the age gap now. Now it's happening. It's happening.
Yeah, I'm vaping on my hoverboard, and then I get a good idea.
Well, because like, I mean, I think you're the first person I've ever talked to on this podcast who isn't like, oh, writing it out by hand is the ultimate, you know, godly expression of creativity.
It probably is.
You're like, what the hell is this? You have to cross things out. You got to use it's like a writing utensil. It's like a stylus with an ink tip on the end. I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a product of my generation. As much as I try not to, as I try to deny it, I don't think anybody should put too much emphasis on the technique that they do things in. I think that art is a human thing, much like it's a bird thing, and an animal thing in general. I don't think that we should get too bogged down in how archaic our methods are of writing it. I think it's more about the immediate expression. It's more about the things that you're putting into, your brain, and not so much how you're jotting them down. I think some people get really pretentious in the, minutia of that stuff.
What about, do you feel like you need to gather certain amounts of life experience to write songs, and do you sometimes feel like you've run out of life and you're like, oh, I have to go go do some stuff?
Well, the good thing is that I am at I am at an age where I am becoming less of an idiot every day.
Mm-hmm.
So those things are like totally essential to my songwriting, especially because most of my lyrics are about kind of like broad life stuff. So I do need that. I mean, like anything, it's not something you can force. It's like you kind of just have to like actually live your life outside of making stuff, and it makes it a little difficult when I would like to get to a point where I'm like making 2 or 3 records a year, but I just won't have the life experience to do it. And I do like the fact that my discography at this point, as it stands, maybe it won't stay like that, but you can hear me becoming like less stupid, like as the records go on.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that's. Yeah, I think that the best thing you can hope for is like some work that shows like gradual artistic growth, and then just like you get weird.
Oh yeah,
like get weird in different directions.
Well, see, what I'm worried about is that there's, especially in the last like 10 years, there's been so many examples of these really great artists making like the bubbling under what could be like their biggest album yet, and then they make the weirdest album they could possibly make after it, like Animal Collective, Meriwether into Centipede Hurts. It's like, why would you do that? Deer Hunter, Halcyon Digest into Monomania, like why would you do that? So I want a little, like, definitely a broader kind of weirder set of influences on the next record, but I also don't want to be like, okay, I made the good one, let's get too scared and make the weirdest album I can make to protect myself.
Yeah, that's like who is somebody was just talking about that with I know, I'm not going to pull it. Doesn't matter. I was thinking about that with like a director and like people who they make a big mainstream movie and then they have to pull back and make, something like weird and violent or whatever. Like the Coen brothers are like a weird example because like they had all this success with No Country for Old Men, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna make nothing like that for forever. Like
Kevin Smith is totally like that too, I think, because he made that Ride Along movie, then he made Red State after. I know that was like on purpose, but
yeah,
well,
I think that was just shell shock from working with Bruce Willis, right? Isn't that what the situation is with him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kevin Smith is an interesting case too, because now he's decided to basically like reinvent. He's a little bit like doing the plot of this current season of Silicon Valley or something. He's like, fine, movie making doesn't work out for me. Fine, I'm gonna make a new kind of making movies. And you're like, but like, what is it? What's happening with you? And like, you and Johnny Depp are like suddenly best friends. What a weird third act Kevin Smith is having.
I'm hoping that every movie Kevin Smith makes for the rest of his life is gonna star Justin Long as the titular scary character in it. I think that's probably the safest way to go about it.
Justin Long needs the work. Those Mac commercials have dried up or whatever.
Wow, I forgot about those.
You know what the problem is? You know why that wouldn't work now?
Why?
Like, because it would it's like the idea that the Mac guy was cool. Like, it doesn't work anymore.
American Apparel sweatshirt with the
he followed the same arc as like Jim and Pam from The Office, where like they were cool. Then we're like, wait, are they assholes?
Yeah.
Wait, is this show actually about like their tragic lack of ambition? Are we supposed to pity Jim and Pam more than anyone else?
Well, that's what's crazy about again, kind of going back to that like 2008, 2009 thing, is that like that, and this is part of the reason why it makes it so difficult for me to go back to those things and have them inspire me, is that like they were so like just misguided, and there were so many people like thinking that like just being somewhat different is like, oh, that excuses every like garbage decision I make because I'm not a jock or whatever. So it's like I feel like that period of time was just like people, and I mean, you know better than I did because I was like 12 when that was going on. But you know, I think there's a lot of people just othering themselves and making it so that they you know, if you weren't this kind of like hyper masculine dude, then it was like anything I do is fine, and any woman that I manipulate is fine, you know. And it's like, so we're going back to all these like not older, but you know, 10 years old films and stuff, and it's just like that. Yeah, it just doesn't hold up.
You know what? We always think, both collectively as a society and personally as like artists, we always think right now we have it. Okay, and then 5 years later we go, no, I have it now. Holy shit, I really didn't. I was really not right back then. But then here's what happens after that. 10 years later, you look back at the things from 10 years. You look back at things from 5 years ago, and you go, no, I didn't have it. Then you look back at things from 10 years ago, and you go, well, I had it back then.
I picked this on the big star. I said yes, but that's not what he said. Oh, the divine. You like what comes after. I dropped out of the young life just to see that that's all become me.
Like when you're like a teenager, you have all these like really strong feelings, and a lot of the time you use them to create things, and you think about like, I need to like, what if I stop feeling this way? I won't be able to like create things. And like because I remember always being like afraid of like losing touch with my like inner drama queen, or whatever. And then I did, and it was like, God, thank God that bitch is dead.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
It's like, it's so weird, but it's so great. And it's a different kind of creativity. It's like a slower burn or something, but like it feels good.
I mean,
So don't be afraid of aging. I mean, don't age too
oh,
fast.
I'm well. See, that's more my issue. Is that I think I'll be a great old man and a terrible young man. I think that's how my life will probably play out. But you know, also, I think that the records before this one were a lot about interpersonal relationships, and you know, I wrote a lot of an embarrassing amount of like unrequited love songs and stuff, and SUMO has no love songs on it. It's completely about human experience and things that actually I think are important to talk about, and you know, moving in that direction makes it a lot easier to write. It makes it a lot easier to connect to people. It makes a lot of, you know, because it is about the general human experience, and love is a very cheap way to get to that. But if you can go past that and make it about more things, it becomes different. So I think the further I get away from any sort of like interpersonal jealousy or interpersonal anything like that, the better of an artist I'll be, because I'll be tapping more into the actual human experience and not my like narrow, you know, small town version of it or whatever.
Yeah. That's a better way of putting it. It doesn't sound as like the less you feel, the better you'll feel. It's more like the less you focus on yourself, the more you'll focus on other people.
Yeah. Or alternatively, the more you focus on yourself, the more you'll focus on other people. You know, if you can go inward and kind of completely, I don't want to say transcend your own ego, but if you can,
all the way up your ass, until you
back
get out
to your head,
till you get out the other side.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's the goal. That's the goal. You want, it's like, because you know, it's at a certain point, after creating art that's like totally anchored to your ego or whatever, you're like, well, I can't turn around now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just keep going, and you realize that you're kind of tapping into everyone's ego. I mean, I can get into a whole thing about, you know, universal consciousness and all that shit, but I do think that thinking in a way that's more about the collective and less about the individual makes art so much fucking easier to actually make. And just thinking that whatever you're making is culture, no matter if it's good or not, is another way where it's like you can just kind of like take the pressure off a little bit and really just enjoy making things, and less about like, oh, where's it gonna fit, or like who's gonna enjoy it. It's like I just unfollowed every music blog that I followed on Twitter because I'm like, it is prohibiting my creativity because I'm trying to fit in boxes, and that's not how it should work. At least not for me. Maybe it's different for other people. But
No, that's universally true.
Yeah.
Unfollow every blog.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, no, this is good. I like where this is going. We're getting into like Waking Life territory. We're gonna like that scene in Waking Life where they talk about the like study where people who did day-old crosswords did better than the I don't know if it's real, because it's a cartoon of Ethan Hawke saying this, so I don't know if I can believe it. But that like that like people because the ideas were out in the world.
Yeah.
And so that's interesting. It's an interesting thought. It feels good to think about. I don't know if it's true.
I stopped trying to be original and I became an artist.
There you go. There's the bumper sticker version of it.
Hey, yeah, exactly.
I do that at work, actually. I have people try to like condense lessons that I teach them down to bumper stickers.
Yeah, fucking lazy proverbs. That's all it is. Yeah.
Yeah. It works. Mm-hmm. It's stupid, but it works. It's like it makes you mad that it works, but it works.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a reason why Confucius has stayed in the public consciousness for as long as he has. It's just because of these like small, like simple worded ways of going about actual like human truths that and that's actually not that I'm like I read a lot of Taoist theory and that's why I write the music that I do, but it's like understanding more about just overall humans and not just being like, oh, like just the kids that listen to like Beat Happening, like then you actually understand how to really reach people and not just kind of like do a bunch of things that are clever. If you can transcend cleverness and put more into like actual truth and like just removed from any sort of pretentiousness that you can give it, that's when you're really tapping into the real shit.
When you do meditation, what kind of meditation do you do? What works for you?
Started with body scan because that's a very practical way to go about it. Yeah,
body scans are my shit.
Body scans the shit, and then mindfulness is really where I got to because I'm just, as I said, a fucking ball of anxiety. So
sure,
need to calm that down a little bit.
I found the body scan thing really helpful because it was like anything to not focus on my fucking brain.
Yeah,
like
totally.
Anything to get out of that. Mm-hmm. And I remember just thinking the thing about like the part where they would talk about like your feet as they're connected to the floor. That was like a huge thing for me for a while, and I would just like do that all the time, like think about my feet being connected to the floor. And it was great.
Not to get too Pete Holmesy, but first question: have you done psychedelics? Follow-up question: how has that influenced the art that you make?
I have like never done like any drugs.
Wow.
So the answer to that is no. I like when I was like a teenager, the thing was nobody ever asked me. Like nobody ever asked me. You want to, what I mean? Like I saw those videos of Bill Cosby telling me to say no. People asked, but I was like, I never got the opportunity to even say no. Nobody ever asked. And then, like, in my early 20s, I, like, tried to, like, smoke weed a couple times to disastrous results.
Of course.
And really hated it, really felt horrible. And just was like, well, I guess I'm just going to be an alcoholic. And, until recently, that was helpful for me creatively.
Yep.
It, like, just relaxes you a little bit. Mm-hmm. But, and then, like I would, so like it relaxes you. 2 drink Zach was like thoughtful, writing whatever person. And then like 3 and 4 drink Zach was like, get out the camera, say some wacky shit.
So you could meet her out or whatever. Yeah.
Like it served the 2 sides of my personality and the kind of art that I was making at the time, which was always like wacky, suddenly we're emotional.
Much like a natural drunk state is. Yeah, that's good.
So that was the kind of thing like, oh, suddenly we're learning a lesson.
Yeah.
And then the new thing is like, let's not pull any punches. Mm-hmm. Let's start out an episode of a podcast and be like, my dad doesn't like me. So now where do we go from here?
Yeah.
But okay, let me take that question, roll it in a ball of energy, and throw it back to you. Psychedelics, creativity.
Part of the reason that SUMO is as good as it is, I believe. I started doing psychedelics very recently, and have only done it a few times. But you know, I'm someone that's naturally in my head a lot, and anything that can kind of force me into presence is a really good thing. And I think that it makes a lot of music make more sense, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I couldn't suggest it enough. But if weed didn't make you feel good, then you would probably die in that.
You know, I just watched an episode of Love where they did mushrooms, and I was like, that sort of looks fun. But then like one guy kind of got like vaguely homicidal.
Yep.
And I was like, maybe that's me.
You possibly. I mean, well, that's the thing, is that you can't tell.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about a lot of it's about environment, and you know, and I'm clearly not an expert in any way, but yeah, I mean, I think that it's a good way to really tap into what your brain does naturally, and I think that that's a huge push up when it comes to, you know, ways to be artistic. Definitely.
Let's keep doing Pete Holmes questions. When was the hardest you ever laughed?
I've been holding this for when I actually get interviewed by Pete Holmes. Fuck you. No, I have to think about it. I don't know. It's probably something garbage.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for that question. Like, no. I think I hear that podcast all the time, and I'm like, I don't know.
Obviously, how do people think of it on the spot is my question. It's like I have like that's your whole life that you got to think about the hardest time you laughed ever. You know,
yeah.
Like, and I mean, when it comes to like things when I was a kid, it's like I'm sure I remember some things as a kid, but you know, I don't know. I can't answer that. I can tell you what I think about God.
Yeah, I was gonna say what's that's the next one. What happens when we die?
Whatever you want to happen happens.
Mm-hmm.
I part of me also thinks like you're dead, so it doesn't matter. You know, like if nothing does happen, you can't be mad about it or you can't be mad about it not happening because you're not existing. But I don't know. I believe in an interconnected spiritual plane that we're all on. I don't know what it is or what it consists of, or if it's real, or if there's any tangible being that started it or anything like that. But yeah, I think that God is the pizza that is about to be consumed by us, and I think.
Oh, is that what Jory was miming? I thought he was showing himself sucking like 1,000 cocks. I thought he was just shoveling cocks into his mouth.
This is going in the podcast.
But yeah, okay, cool.